DK. I'm the host of the Wheel Print Podcast. Today, we are going to cover the basics to get a better understanding of what the heck are NFTs. And I got to say, I'm an owner. I own an NFT. And actually, I bought my own King of the Deep, the image that was presented. And so I'm psyched to have my first collectible. So here we are. We're going to try to figure out exactly what NFTs are and to eliminate any of the confusion, because we totally want this project to be successful. Today's guests are Bryan Speece, owner of Fantokin, and Ish Tanyeri, owner of Dromos Agency, my marketing partner. So what Ish came up with was to have a Team Dromos 1.0 collection of 4 adaptive Paralympic athletes. And I think it's a great representation. And so I want to welcome both our guests, Ish and Bryan. Welcome to the Wheel Print Podcast.
Thank you.
Happy to be here. Okay. Yes.
Happy to be here. Yeah.
Happy to be on the screen for the first time. My first podcast as a guest, and pretty ironic that we're going to be speaking about NFTs, and certainly can't say I'm an expert on it, but that's why we have Bryan with us today.
That's right. That's right. Well, we've turned the camera around, Ish. Now it's your turn. But anyways, having said all that, Bryan, our intent is to really dummy down the education to my level and you had to have done that a number of times already. But this is for our audience that are somewhat like me. So why don't you just start with, what does NFT even stand for? What's the acronym?
Yeah, that's an easy one. So NFT stands for non-fungible token. And non-fungible, that part is kind of just a fancy way of saying that it's a unique token. So it can't be easily exchanged for another token because they each have their own unique value.
Ah, all right. Non-fungible. That's the first time I've heard kind of the definition of that. So that's good. Well, how did you get involved in NFTs? What drew you to it? And tell us about your company and the process.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a creator myself. I actually do photography, and I know how hard it is to get a perfect shot. I know how much work people put into creating content or developing any kind of skill. And so when I was learning more about NFTs, I saw it as an opportunity for creators, for athletes, and other skilled individuals to have another income stream for their hard work and to showcase their content. And so that's really why I wanted to start this platform. And what makes Fantokin unique is that we are a platform built for creators. We connect creators with their fans, and we give their fans an opportunity to own a piece of their brand. Also, some other neat features about us, and one that we're really proud of, is the fact that we're environmentally friendly because we're built on top of the Wax blockchain. And Wax is actually a certified carbon neutral blockchain. Another thing we do is that we verify the identity of all of the creators on our platform. And we do that so that when you purchase an NFT off of Fantokin, you know that it's legitimate, that it's coming from the legitimate creator. And you don't have to worry about that. We're actually also just kind of developing a lot of features to help creators connect with their fans. And we have a few right now, and we have more to come. So we're excited about that.
You should be. That's awesome. So when I started to dig, I thought I saw that this concept NFT started with sports and soccer. Did I read that right? Or
I'm not aware of that. To my knowledge, it kind of more started in the gaming community, because
Okay.
with video games, ownership of digital assets is pretty important because it can make or break whether or not you win the game or how you do in the game. So, and then it kind of expanded from there. But I don't know. Maybe you have some deep knowledge.
No, I'm king of the deep, but obviously I didn't go deep enough. Anyway, yeah, no. So with gaming, that's an example. Definitely sports is an example. Give us some other examples that people can kind of comprehend.
Yeah. Well, so in this sports world, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of big names that have done NFT collections like Tom Brady and Tiger Woods. And there have also been other like Olympian NFT collections. But really, any digital media can be minted into an NFT. So it's grown into digital art, video, music, and of course, gaming items. So yeah, it's really your imagination is the limit when it comes to NFTs.
Yeah. So when you say music, are you saying the actual live music, or are you talking about the images of artists playing music?
Yeah, so some musicians have recorded a live concert and released portions of that as an NFT. Some have actually released even like new albums as NFTs. So yeah,
Wow.
the music itself as well.
Wow. Well, then I kind of think I know the answer to this, but I'm not going to presume. But if I were to ask, Bryan, what's the why, in these NFTs to collect, purchase, invest, trade? Break it down for us. What's the why for across the board, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say a lot of people purchase NFTs for different reasons. Some purchase them the same reason they purchase any other collectible, because they want to show their fandom for a certain subject or a certain person, or they kind of just want to support the creator of the NFT. Of course, obviously, a lot of people purchase NFTs with the hope of selling them for a higher price later. So they do it as an investment strategy. And that definitely does drive a lot of the NFT community. But another interesting thing that has really started to happen in the past, I would say 6 months to a year, is that across the NFT landscape, there have been a lot of platforms and creators that have been finding creative ways to reward purchasers of NFTs. So they might do something like you get extra content when you purchase it, or maybe you get some kind of physical media. Or I think another popular thing is kind of like one-on-one Zoom calls with the creator. And yeah, it's pretty neat because NFTs really are in their infancy. And so I think we're going to see a lot more creative ways that people kind of add value to an NFT.
Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting, is that we're on the cutting edge of the beginning, just another new wave. And especially if you think of it along the lines of just collectibles in general, whatever you may collect, you value, and if you can make money off of it or enhance your collection, then that's pretty cool. So let's get even more specific though. So if someone went out and purchased King of the Deep, okay, that's my image. What could they do with it? I mean, give me some examples of what could be done with that piece of art.
Yeah. Well, they can definitely display it to show off their fandom and their support of you, either digitally or printed out for any non-commercial purposes, and display it. Obviously, too, once you own the NFT, that means it's yours to transfer or to resell on a secondary market. Another neat thing about the Team Dromos collection is that the original purchaser of the NFT, they get a personalized message on a postcard and the postcard has a print of the illustration. So that's kind of like one of those neat reward things that I was talking about earlier. And what Fantokin does too is that anybody who purchases a Fantokin or holds one of our tokens, they also get invited to Fantocon, which is our annual online creator convention. And that's going to be really neat because we're going to have creators who give a little bit of behind the scenes about their collection. And also we'll have like virtual meet and greets and virtual Q&As. So that's like another kind of bonus that we give to Fantokin holders.
Well, I think anyone likes linked benefits to being part of something like that. So I hope with our Dromos 1.0, we get such traction that we're way up in that. So well, okay, for Ish and or yourself, Bryan, I'm just wondering, has there been any Paralympian kind of involvement in NFTs to this point, given your knowledge of it?
Yeah, I can take this, DK. So during my research at the very beginning, which is at this point about a year ago, I did find a couple of examples where that I was inspired by. One of them was from a Brazilian artist that kind of worked on Paralympians from Brazil, but also from some other countries. And that was when I really kind of felt like I really want to take this direction of like superheroes and kind of showing off my athletes in this really kind of cool, badass and, powerful, views. And that's when, so that was definitely one of those collections where I felt like I could connect, and I felt like that's something that I want to take to our collection of Team Dromos. Another one that I found this very, very recently, found out that a Japanese band member had donated the proceeds of the NFTs, not necessarily Paralympic related NFTs, but just, proceeds from the NFTs to the IPC and to like Japanese parasports organizations, because he was just so inspired by the Tokyo 2020 games and he wanted to really kind of show his support. So he donated over $200,000 to these organizations. But that's really kind of, again, the connection between the NFT and, giving back to the Paralympic movement. That's why I'm pretty confident in saying that we are the first and only, like, this is a historic collection where we brought artists with disabilities with elite athletes with disabilities, and we're able to really kind of show off the world the beauty of the Paralympic movement.
Awesome. Okay, well, you mentioned Team Dromos and you said my athletes. Would you explain what that role is first, so everybody knows what you're doing with these athletes?
Yeah, of course. So I am the founder and CEO of Dromos Agency, and I am proud to represent U.S. Paralympic athletes. So, DK3 was my first clients from even before Dromos Agency began. But, through UDK, I was able to meet a lot of other athletes. And so now I am so proud to represent Dana Matthewson. She's a top-ranked, wheelchair tennis player in the country, and
Ace of the Wands.
Ace of the Wands, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. And then Ryan Neiswinder, he's a Paralympic gold medalist in wheelchair basketball, Eye of the Storm. And then we have Kyle Zich, and he's Captain Kyle, and he's a Paralympic gold medalist in sled hockey. So, and then King of the Deep, how could we forget? And so these four athletes are kind of just making up the Team Dromos 1.0 collection. And I am so proud and so honored to get a chance to work with you and be able to do something so unique and so outside the box and creative. And want to say thank you to, you and all my athletes for trusting me, trusting my agency and this project, because, we're doing something big here.
Yeah. Well, it was blind trust. I'll tell you that much, because none of us knew what was going to come down the pike.
Oh,
but anyway, yeah. So I think it's really important to know, just to get it out that Paralympic adaptive athletes are being represented by professional communities in order to obtain more publicity, more sponsorship, and the kind. So more creating a brand for themselves. That's the big thing, So, anyways, got that part out. So, Ish, how did you become involved and your agency directly? How did the conversation start with NFTs?
Great question. So what happened was it was about a year ago, or maybe just like right after Tokyo. Ryan comes back and, we're having a chat and he's like, Ish, I just, had an interview with this guy, James from Fantokin. And, he was telling me about this new company that he was getting involved with, and it's all about NFTs. Have you heard about NFTs? I'm like, yeah, I've heard. And, not really. I was like, yeah, I had heard of NFTs. Do I know anything about NFTs? Absolutely not. But he didn't ask that follow-up questions. So I was like, I wasn't really lying. So I was like, yeah, I definitely heard of NFTs. So I was like, I really want you to have this conversation with James and kind of like see what's all about, like whether it's, worth our time and investments. And because I really want to just get involved and, do something really unique with it. So, when one of your athletes tells you he's interested in something that's kind of outside the box, obviously that's my responsibility to look into it. So I was like, all right, hung up the phone and started Googling, started doing some research. And man, definitely weeks and weeks of reading about NFTs and listening to podcasts about NFTs. And, I definitely learned a lot and was overwhelmed. But I was like, this is so new and cool. And it has never been done before. And it's something about it just like drew me to it. And I was excited about it. I wanted to be the first. I wanted to be the first with my agency and my athletes to be a part of it. And honestly, I must say that I think it made me feel better and more comfortable kind of working with Bryan and his team, because they were also just getting started. So they gave me the time to really kind of walk me through the first steps and kind of explain to me, how it works and what it is, and kind of the first questions that you ask someone about like what an NFT is. So, I really did appreciate that. So I felt like we were building that trust and that relationship, and I felt like we could go places together. And, just through, I don't know how many meetings we had, Bryan, but we had a lot. Through those conversations, I felt more and more comfortable. I could ask any question and they were, eager to receive it. And that's really how I got involved with it, DK.
What about, you named the collection of these 4 Paralympic athletes, the Team Dromos 1.0 collection. Yeah. What makes this collection so important and unique to you?
Yeah, great question. I think a couple of things. Number one, it is definitely a collection where, we made sure that we worked with artists with disabilities, right? So the fact that we wanted to challenge ourselves and found these artists where, we could have found anyone, but we were determined to work with artists with a disability. And that was very important to me because it's part of the mission and the vision of this project. We were trying to bring the artists and the, athletes together in the disability community and really kind of show to people that this is part of the 15% of the population. And
they have incredible talents, incredible, work that they're putting off. And we got to recognize that. So I think that's number one. The artists really make this project extremely unique and successful. They're able to bring their own perspectives to it, right? They might have their own personal experiences living with a disability, and bringing that perspective into their artwork was extremely important. So that's one. And number two, it's the first of its kind, DK, as I said before.
Yeah, you're talking my language when you start talking
That's
first
it.
ever, first of a kind, first anything I like.
When
for the
DK is
most
involved,
part.
it's got to be first of its kind. So I had to do that for you. So that's really it. And I'm really, really proud of it. I think we're doing great stuff out there, and it's gonna continue to grow. We're just getting started with this project.
Well, we feel your excitement, and I've seen the elevation of your tone and your passion for this project. So it's really cool. And I want to take this opportunity to really thank Fantokin. Now, we're not done or anything, but for the leadership and for taking the chance to move in this direction. It wasn't understood in the beginning, but now I see that we have a chance to be a part of a bigger thing, that's already going on, and probably it can't be stopped. So why not think of inclusion in this regard? So
Definitely.
It was our pleasure. Like Ish said, we had a lot of communication back and forth. But it was a lot of fun because like Ish immediately got really engaged with it. And as she talked about before, I believe that like a lot of the concepts around, having these like superhero like images and bringing in the artists with disabilities. I mean, Ish came with those ideas, and it was just like every new idea was making this project better and better. So it was really great to work with you, Ish.
Thank you so much. I do want to add one more thing. I think that it is so important, like, to go, like, in the Paralympic space. I think sometimes we can kind of just do the same thing over and over again and not be as creative. And I think, like, just to kind of, again, to answer your question, DK, what makes this project so unique is that it shows that the Paralympic movements can become creative, can go outside the box, can kind of challenge the status quo a little bit. Or maybe, it's through the Team Dromos. That's what we're doing. And it just shows that, my agency and my athletes are able to think that way and think outside the box and creatively. So I thought that was very important to mention. So thanks so much.
Yep, you bet. All right. So Bryan, walk us through the process a little bit of not a little bit, but really, I know you've thought this out, but the process of purchasing or bidding, like there's two processes, because once an auction has ended, if I'm saying it right, now, like with Team Dromos 1.0, you can flat bid on one of those pieces. So if someone were to again, want to purchase King of the Deep, it has seemed to me that in the beginning that it was a little bit complicated, but I think that was just me, so maybe it's not as complicated as I made it, but I want the people listening who are trying to understand, when they get in there, to think about the next step of supporting this movement and this project, that they understand what it's going to look like and feel like.
Yeah, definitely. So as you alluded to, there's two listing options. There's an auction, and then there's also like a buy now listing option. And depending on whether it's on auction or whether it's buy now, it changes a little bit of dynamic. Obviously, if it's an auction, you're placing a bid. If it's buy now, you can just immediately make the purchase. I guess I'm going to try to share my screen here, see if I can do a little bit of a walkthrough, and hopefully it becomes less confusing. So yeah, we definitely wanted to make it as simple as possible. So can you both see my screen pretty well there? Cool.
Yes, I can. And for our listeners, that you should know, we're on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So this is both going to be an audio and a visual presentation.
Yeah. So right now I'm on fantokin.com and I'm registering just like a little test account that we're going to use for this demonstration. So if we go to your listing, DK, King of the Deep, we can see that the auction is over, but we had a few copies that we could put onto a buy now listing. And so if you were to click buy now, you'll see, well, first of all, I'm going to have a little message here saying I must add a payment method. So let's do that first. And I'm actually just going to put in a like test credit card here. So don't try to steal this number because it's not a real credit card. This is used for testing when we do development. And we'll just put in a fake.
Anybody that does Amazon's got this whole process wired. So
yeah. So that's pretty straightforward. Let's get back to your page here. And now when I do buy now, that warning is gone. And then you can select how many copies you want. You know, if you want all of them, you can do that. But we'll say one here, and then it'll automatically obviously calculate tax based on your location. And yeah, and then if we hit complete purchase, since I put in a fake card, I'm going to get an error message here. But but if it was a real card, that would go through. And yeah, that's as easy as it is to place a purchase. Now, one thing your listeners would want to be aware of is that you also need to connect a Wax Cloud wallet. And as I mentioned before, we're built on top of the Wax blockchain. And essentially what that means is that in order for us to actually transfer the NFT into a wallet, so it's in your possession, so that then you can either transfer it or resell it, you have to connect a wallet so that we can do that. And I guess for people watching this on video, I will show what that looks like here. There's a couple of different options. If you already have a Wax Cloud wallet, you can just connect it directly. If you have a self-managed wallet, which means that maybe you don't use the Wax Cloud wallet, you actually have a wallet address that is you store like on a piece of paper or somewhere else safe, you can just put in the wallet address and we'll take it from there. And then another thing we do is that because the Wax Cloud wallet does require a 5 Wax fee in order to create the wallet, we will actually cover that activation fee for any fan that purchases at least $20 worth of fan tokens. We cover that activation fee for you. And then it's pretty easy to create a Wax Cloud wallet. If you go to our FAQ page and you click on the how do I create a Wax Cloud wallet, there's step-by-step instructions here. And it's really just about six or seven steps, if you count this last one. That just says that at that point you're connected. But anyways, yeah, so it's about 6 steps and it's fairly easy to connect it. And then what happens is you can either connect it before you make a purchase or you connect it after you make a purchase, especially if you're looking for us to subsidize that activation fee. And then as soon as you add the wallet, if you've already made a purchase, we will then instantly transfer any tokens that need to be transferred. We will instantly transfer them to that wallet. So yeah, and basically the difference between our platform and a lot of other platforms is that, we exclusively accept credit card, and we do that because we want to make it easy for people who are new to NFTs and maybe don't want to deal with any cryptocurrency. They can purchase via credit card. So you just have to add that payment method. But then we do need you to add a wallet, even though you're not using like Wax cryptocurrency. We need you to add the wallet just so that we can transfer that token to your wallet. But once you do that, you're ready to go. And of course, once you connect it once, then we can use that connection indefinitely into the future. So
I know I figured it out, so that pretty much leaves it open to anybody. So and others have figured it out as well. So but if any of my peeps out there, if you're motivated to purchase any of these four athletes and these pieces of art at the $75 flat fee, and you have any struggle whatsoever, get in touch with me and we'll work it out. I'll get to Bryan, or maybe I'll just be that guy for the moment and know what I'm talking about. So yeah, but I wanted to thank you very much, Bryan, for that. And no joke intended, though. I read this on your website, and it really meant a lot to me early on in the process. It said, think of Fantokin as being similar to a mint condition 1952 Mickey Mantle baseball card. You wouldn't exchange that valued commodity for just any other card. So that's where trading comes in. That's where value comes in. And using Mickey Mantle is kind of key and timely, because I just saw 2 days ago that card, or a card just like it, of Mickey Mantle sold for $7 or $9 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was on ESPN. I'm like, oh my God. And then I see this example, and it's just like when we were kids, and had we kept everything we collected back then, it might have been a business. So who knows? But that meant a lot to me to read that. And I think it's good to be on your website, Bri. But so Ish, what are you, and maybe we've already answered this, but what are you trying to achieve with the Team Dromos 1.0 collection? Just bottom line.
Yeah. Just in summary, what I would say is it's representation, right? There is 15% of the world population, of the US population, is living with a disability. And in order to really showcase the talent and the capabilities of the disability world, we need to go outside our comfort zones a little bit and show them off in these kind of really unique ways, unique opportunities. So I thought this was going to be one of those opportunities, a once in a lifetime opportunity where we can really kind of showcase the talents that's out there. And that's really what we're trying to do here with this project. And the message is that you can do anything. Anything is possible. Just dream big and dream different.
Dare to be different. I love it. Yep. All right. So we're getting kind of down to the end of it here. Bryan, how can people find out more about this 1.0 project and actually make a purchase? So just let me hear where you would direct them to begin the process that you totally explained already after this podcast, because we know people are going to be motivated to bust the move on one of these pieces of art, or all four of them.
Yeah. So the Team Dromos creator detail page, that is fantokin.com/@teamdromos. But of course, you can also just go to fantokin.com directly. That's fantokin.com. And you'll be able to find them on the homepage or in our creator directory.
Awesome. All right. Well, there you have it. That's a wrap, folks. You heard it here on the wheel print, the how and the why to purchase one of these Paralympic NFTs like the King of the Deep did. So I'm grateful, and so is King of the Deep. And I hope you're motivated to get out and purchase one of these unbelievable pieces of art that could be something dramatic towards the Paralympic movement. All right. So I hope you're understanding more about Fantokin, more about the Team Dromos 1.0, and that King of the Deep gives it its stamp of tremendous approval. All right. So peace out, everyone. Be a good human being. Thanks for being on, Bryan.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. This was a really fun conversation.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.